Hello, how are you? How are you going? I just wanted to share something that came through, a transmission that really came through yesterday from Hathor during a conversation I was having with a beautiful friend of mine. And I was like, wow, this information is so profound. Like, I really have to share it. So Hathor is one of my spiritual guides. She's really taking me through a lot of trainings with her in regards to language and really understanding the power of language and of energy. And so as I was having this conversation yesterday with my friend, we were talking about we were really talking about mums and bubs and how there is such a downfall of consideration for a mother. And I completely get it. Like, we all go through different cycles and everyone also has a different experience and so forth, so forth. But this was actually relating to another post I did where, about energy work with children and how important it is as well. And so when Hathor came through, it became like so this happens quite often, and what actually happens is I'm still in my body as I channel and as I receive these transmissions, these downloads, whatever you want to call them, as I receive this information from the spirit guides, and in this one, Hathor. And so they make their presence known to me first. And I'm like, oh, cool, okay, Hathor. And number two is that they don't enter my body. So they don't speak through me. It's like they start showing me like a visualization. This is me, and this is not always the case for everyone. So I will start off by sharing that first. Everyone is quite different. But number one, I always think it's very, very important not to allow anything to enter your body. And your guides know this as well. The ones that are of true and unconditional love will not do this to you. It is more the deceitful ones and the ones that are trying to infiltrate as well as dim your light that will try and enter your body and try and prevent you from being who you truly are. And so Hathor was just showing me a vision that she showed me before, which was there were these ancient temples where before language even existed, these beings would attend. And as they attended, it's like they had to spend years and years and years on just a syllable. That is how important language is. Until once they understood the power of the syllable, they would then create a word and understand the power of the syllables within that word. Now, this is so extreme. I completely get it. And so this is like, I don't know how many years ago, but it feels like billions, but it might not be billions at all. Maybe light years, yeah. But yeah, so when she came to me yesterday and as we were having this conversation, um, I just started like typing what I was seeing to my friend because we were typing, and I was just saying all this information. And then I went back and reread it, and I was like, whoa, this is such profound information. And I feel like I really need to share this. So, as we enter this world, and as some of us like to call this world very corrupt, very much in the matrix system, patriarchal system, so forth, and everything's collapsing, etc., etc. I'm not going to go deeper into that now. But we've really been conditioned to forget about the power of our words and the power of language. And as we are conditioned with the power of our words, like, you can look around you really in your everyday life and see how people are talking. Are they talking positively or are they talking negatively? And it seems like it's just so easy to always talk negative about ourselves. or about our surroundings or things that are happening around the world or in our life. So that number one really closes you up, because all you're talking about is negative stuff, really bringing forth constant negative things as well. But yeah, so back to the thing, and as babies, when we're born into this world, our first language is actually energy. And not many mothers are actually aware of that. Some might be, and that is amazing. And there are others that are, being on this spiritual path, which I also don't like calling it, but maybe more of a conscious path, where they are aware of energy and how it affects others, how their energy can be affected, their aura. Yeah, and then you go deeper into people that are super sensitive, super aware of what's happening, and they know when they're being energetically attacked, or they know when something really feels wrong in this world. They have that awareness within them, which is really, really awesome. But to start off with, a lot of I find a lot of mothers that come into this world have forgotten that. Um, and there is that huge struggle street of, trying to maintain our original life, trying to maintain having that alone time, having the ability to do what we want when we wanted to, having that ability to be very independent. Like when you become a mum, most mums are the ones that stay home. I know that is changing quite greatly at the moment, and that is beautiful as well. And this can relate to a dad too, because dads also go through a shift as they also step into fatherhood. This isn't just about mums. I just feel like mums, I'm sharing from my experience as well. It for me, like the hormone changes in my body, the physical things I was experiencing, especially, all the issues that came up from my childhood, such as abandonment, trauma. There was a lot of stuff that came up when Enzo was born. But yeah, so energy is the first language. And as a mom, you can really, number one, go with the flow of that and really have that understanding, which I get it sometimes it doesn't even happen instantaneously. Sometimes it might happen 2 months down the track where you're like, wow, when I feel upset, my baby is crying a lot more. Or, when I'm feeling good, my baby's also having a good day. Like everyone is having a good day. And and Hathor told me in that space that we are giving multiple chances to understand this, to understand that energy is the first language. And even when we are born, we generally forget that energy is the first language because we go through the schooling system. We forget, we're talking, we're trying to impress, we're trying to, ensure we're doing the right thing, trying to get good grades, whatever, trying to get good careers, so forth, so forth, so forth, trying to have a great social life, trying to fit in, really. And so, but then if you do decide to have children, it's like it happens again, and you are put back into the space to relearn that energy is the first language. When you have a baby, you can speak to your baby as much as you want, but your baby will only understand the energy behind the words you're speaking. Isn't that beautiful? And so it's like you are initiated back into this ancient teaching of energy. And as I'm hoping for those that are watching this video, you would know that energy is everywhere and surrounds everything. Everything is energy, right? And even though you may not always be able to see energy, it still exists. And I use the common examples of Wi-Fi. That makes more sense. Like you're not actually plugging anything into your phone to receive the Wi-Fi. It's up in in the frequencies. And there is something in your phone that magnetizes the Wi-Fi to it. So it gives you the reception. Yeah. Um, energy, like it pretty much all works the same. And a beautiful thing that my husband always says, which is really, really nice. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Is energy not is not created nor destroyed. It just changes in form. And he's going to get upset at me because I know I didn't say that right, but that's okay. So yeah, so as Hathor came to me and was sharing me that information, I was like, wow, like, thank you so much, Hathor. Thank you so much for giving everyone multiple opportunities to reconnect and to understand the power of energy, and then to step into the power of our words. That is, Hathor is like the ascended master of really language, light language, if you want to call light language, but just language in general. And she has multiple teachings as well, but that's the one I'm currently under with her. And so, yeah, and so another thing I did want to mention was that, sometimes mothers, and I know this is still like, I'm getting like about an 80% of mothers still go through a very traumatic birth, traumatic birth experience. And a lot of things are really left there, which is so, it's so deep and sensitive to me because I have personally gone through all of this myself. I went through a traumatic birth, and I don't wish a traumatic birth upon anyone at all. And anyone who does go through a birthing stage, I'm always like sending lots and lots of love with them, because it is tough, not only the transition for the baby to enter earth side, but also for the mother or soon to be mother. And so if a lady or a woman goes through a traumatic birth, that energy is also stored in the body. And the baby also holds on to that traumatic energy. And I know sometimes that is the last thing you think about. Like in my instance, it definitely was the last thing I thought about. Let's think about my baby and how the traumatic birth affected him. I was so stuck in my world of how could this happen to me? Like, they took my right away, like all this stuff that I could go into. But yeah, like it really does affect the babies. And until I know I'm stepping away from a separate topic. I feel like this is two topics intertwined now. Sorry if you only came here for the messages from Hathor, but um yeah, it's just for me like so profound, and it's just such beautiful information to receive. But um yeah, the traumatic birth really affects your child until you really start to work on clearing that within yourself, and then you can clear it. It automatically can clear. You can tell your baby, I've cleared it, I've detached from it. And it doesn't mean that you forget. Like, no, like I'm not, when I've done a lot of energy work on my traumatic birth, it is more that now when I speak about my traumatic birth, there are no longer tears. And I know people say time, like, time makes things easier, whatever. It can, because it gets pushed to the back of your head, but it's still there. And I personally remember, so I had a cesarean, and I personally remember that, 10 months down the track, I still had a lot of weight around my belly, around the cut. And that's where the trauma was stored. And until I did energy healing on that space, I pretty much lost like 10 to 15 kilos in a week, maybe 2 weeks. And that's a lot to lose. I personally, for myself, always try things. Like, I'm open to trying, which really, really helps me. And then I actually gather my own experience and then put that into my own, my own book, really. Like, okay, this actually worked. So, like, when I did that energy healing, I think it was called circulatory, like a circulatory body process, which now I'm qualified in because I just felt like it was just so powerful for me, and I wanted to learn it. And it works on any cards, but for me, at that point in time, it was trauma stored at my C-section. And so, yeah. And then once that got healed, my baby actually became a lot more easier in car rides, a lot more easier to be handled by others. He no longer like, so your babies feel like they're one with you and they still think you are one. It's really beautiful. But yeah, I'll go back to Hathor. So Hathor is one of the spiritual guides that will be there at the course that's starting on the 6th of April next month on the full moon. And she is actually holding space for a few of the topics. And if you do decide to join, you will hopefully meet her, whether seeing her or feeling her energy or even hearing her language speak to you. She is such a beautiful being. I have actually seen her, and I've seen her star nation, and they have done multiple healings on me and really awakened me into the space and the person I am today. So this is a blessing to Hathor. Thank you so much. She's here with me now. But yeah, if you're interested in learning more about this workshop and the space that I'm holding, this magical course, you can visit me on my website, and I'll pop that in the link somewhere below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're on social, I'll put it as I attach the video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this to the end. Sending you guys lots and lots of love. Hoping you had an amazing day. Bye.